Hey CSC245, this is Nico, and I have decided to do my final program or final project on a security program. It is a packet analyzer. It is free, so if you want to follow along at any part of this, you're going to be able to. This one that I chose was Wireshark. So Wireshark, you can get to it and access it either through Google, just type in Wireshark, or if you go to www.wireshark.org, you will see it right away. It just shows a picture of a shark, so you'll see very similar to what I see here now. This is the main homepage, and basically, once you're here, the download is fairly simple. So you just click on the download link itself, and you'll see that it has a couple of different options. Now, with those options, we have Windows, Mac, Linux. It works on all those main operating systems. It does take a little while to download, probably about 15 minutes. When you're going through and downloading Wireshark itself, you will have to accept the terms and agreement, and there is one extra program that I'll have to download as well. There's a secondary optional one for part of Wireshark, which is a USB format, but you don't necessarily need to do that. I actually went ahead and pre-downloaded it myself, so we'll be skipping most of the rest of that step. Now, while you're going through it, I would say to avoid the download that allows you to do like extra programs. It's got a couple of free ones that it tries to sneak in there, so I actually chose to decline those. And if you want them, go for it, but I would suggest declining it as well. And then I actually did a ULA test, just just like we did earlier in the semester, just double check. I didn't see anything fishy here at all as well. No pun intended on that. So once it is downloaded, basically you'll have access to it. And Wireshark itself actually has a little bit of information here where it shows that it's the world's foremost and widely used network protocol analyzer. It lets you see what's happening on your network at a microscopic level and is a de facto standard across many commercial and nonprofit enterprises, government agencies, and educational institutions. Wireshark development thrives thanks to the volunteer contributions of networking experts around the globe and is the continuation of a project started by Gerald Combs in 1998. So just to go over a couple of features here that Wireshark has before we do either a quick recap if you already know what a packet analyzer is or just a little bit of information on it. Um, I just wanted to go over a couple of the features that Wireshark had. So we're not going to go through all of these, but just a couple of them here. It does a deep inspection of hundreds of different protocols, so TCP, UDP, HTTP. It does an inspection of those packets of information. It is both available for live capture and offline analysis, so you can save and go back and see what kind of packets of information was there before, and you can see what's traveling while it's going through. I believe it also allows you to detect network information and packets information being sent that's not necessarily going through the internet. So, like local area networks, it should be able to cover that as well. And then once again, it does run on multiple different platforms. So this is a pretty good one because it'll transfer over to any type of system that you'll have: Windows, Linux, Mac, Solaris, FreeBSD, and NetBSD. So it's got quite a bit. The capture files will compress too, so you can capture them, and then it also has something built in to unzip those files for you, so you can store them all. Won't take up too much space. The actual packet analyzer itself here, um, it is one moment. So the actual packet analyzer itself, just a quick brief overview of it, is according to Techipedia is where I got this definition, just to use it here. But it is a packet analyzer is an application or program that is used to track, intercept, and log network traffic that passes over a digital network. So in short, a packet analyzer basically just does that. It analyzes packets of information that travel through a network. It's also known as a packet sniffer. I believe we did a little bit of work on that earlier this semester. Network analyzer or protocol analyzer. Though those last two are a little bit loose term, they can mean a couple of different things as well. Packet analyzers do have many different uses in professional settings, so they can range anywhere from analyzation of network problems, detection of network intrusion attempts. So if somebody's trying to gain access into the system, they'll see that and they'll have a log of that network traffic of people trying to get in. It detects network misuse by users, and it does document regulatory compliance through logging all traffic. So basically, both of those can be used by, say, companies to enforce policies, making sure you're not going to places or websites that you shouldn't while you're on work. If there's ones that say the firewall or proxies aren't covering, it'll allow them to see that. So, you're on Reddit and you're not supposed to be, or something along those lines while you're at work. That'll be a way that they'll be able to track that. It also allows to isolate exploited systems so you can see where either packet loss is happening or information that shouldn't be traveling through the network is. And so it'll allow you to kind of patch up those areas in the network itself because it'll help you find them. It also verifies internal control system effectiveness. So that means that it will allow you to determine whether or not your firewalls and proxies are working the way that they should. And then it does also allow you for some debugging of client-server communication. So if you're getting some packet loss that's happening while you're trying to send some information between client and server, it'll help detect that and allow you to see where the issue's coming from, give you a better idea of how to fix it. Now, packet sniffers are not only used for beneficial means, they can be used by, I guess I put here, the dark side. So basically, hackers can try and obtain information that you have sent, such as credit card information, social security numbers, tax information, stuff like that. Whether it be through like a missed link that you clicked on an accident that got it downloaded, or through like a bad email that you may have received and clicked on. These these ways of using the packet sniffer are definitely something that could be something you want to attempt to stop. So there are actually anti-packet sniffers that detect if you have one running that wasn't by you. And then we'll come back to this here in a little bit, but we do have a list of free packet analyzers that are available. Now, going into the actual Wireshark itself, once you do load it up initially here, it will look something very similar to what I show. And I'm actually going to maximize that real quick. But it will actually show here a couple of different options. So you can, try and look through Bluetooth network connections or Ethernet. We're actually going to use the Wi-Fi option. And so what will happen here is once it's loaded up, just to kind of see how the capture works, there's an option to start capturing packets right here. It does have a lot of other options, and it goes very in depth on what it can do that we will cover on this video here today. But you can end up tracking statistics on what is happening. You can analyze and apply filters to look for just certain areas, certain protocols, um, and there's different options as you go along as far as what this program itself can do. Now we're just going to go ahead and start capturing some information, and almost right away it should just start loading up and capturing packets that are traveling. So if we were to go ahead and say open up another web page, we'll go say youtube.com, since that's where this is going to be getting uploaded. It'll start registering that information that is traveling and going through as well. So it'll notice that we sent a request to here and where we ended up. So it'll see where we started at a local IP address and where we ended up as well. And so once it's fully loaded here, if we stop this just in that short amount of time here, which is what this column does for us, in about 34 seconds, there were 1,671 different packets. That's what this column to the left is right here. This is the number of packets that have actually gone through. Here's our source IP address where the information, everything started, where it ended up, what protocol it was, and then some more information with it as well. So you can actually see all the information that breaks down. If you're looking for more of an in-depth answer as to what it actually is, a lot of information is encrypted, but you can actually Google some of these and get an answer as to what you're looking at, what's going through. And then you can actually go in here, if you say just select one. Let's see if there's one that just stands out for us here at all. Looks like any of these are going to go and work for us here. So we just go up to, let's just go back down to the bottom here and say we choose just this one right here. If you actually go in, you can choose to follow certain parts. So this one was allows us to look into it, the UDP stream. Now everything here is encrypted, but basically the pink is information that was sent out. This is where we started. This is where we set it. It sent some more information back, came back to us again, and then it finally settled there with that information. You can kind of see there's quite a bit of information that is being sent quite rapidly. So overall, packet analyzers are pretty nifty tools, and if you learn more about how they function and what they can be used for, they can be very beneficial, especially if you're going down the cybersecurity field, or if you end up getting any type of a networking occupation here later in life. Now, with this assignment, we had to do a couple of labs here as well. So I actually came up with a couple ideas for them. The first one is to find a packet sniffer online, just a free program. You can revert back to the video here. I'm going to go back to it for you in a moment, which will eventually be uploaded here to YouTube. And there will be a whole bunch of different free options. They don't all work for all operating systems like Wireshark. So if you do decide to use this one, it'll work fine for this assignment as well. Basically, just set it up, kind of play around with it a little bit, and use it to analyze some packets, and just at that point, write a brief paragraph if you found anything when you're analyzing, whether it be through the actual packets of information itself or just knowledge as to what that program can do for you. If you do see anything of concern, also make sure you make a note of that if you see some information that you weren't expecting to have traveled through or something is showing there for you. So just to kind of get a quick recap here of some of the free packet analyzers that there were available. I got a list of different ones that I was able to find that were free to kind of save you some time if you were to be Googling it. So we have Canenable, DSniff, EtherApe, EtherCap, Fiddler, JustNiffer, Kismet, Microsoft Message Analyzer, Microsoft Network Monitor, NetSniff, NG, NGRep, Snoop, TCP Dump, Tranalyzer, Explico, and the one that we used, which was Wireshark. And then kind of thought, since that was the hands-on one, kind of kept it in the same mode for the second lab here, and that was to explain that concept of a packet analyzer to a friend or a family member, coworker, etc. Explain the good and bad of a program like this, um, and if you need to look it up for some more good examples that just aren't occupation related, an example of that is even law enforcement uses packet sniffers or packet analyzers can be used to help them get a warrant in certain situations to kind of go through. Once you have shown them the analyzer or explained it to them, rather, and at that point we can run the program for them and just have them just send in a brief review of their thoughts. I mean, if it's a quick, short, thought process, it's just neat, something like that. That'll work. But just kind of looking to see how they feel about seeing that much information traveling and that it can be tracked here with certain programs, kind of broaden their experience. That does about wrap it up here for the video today. I hope the rest of your summer goes well.